As you look down on Cornwall, you get an impression of a timeless landscape. A landscape rich in diversity and wildlife. A landscape shaped by nature and people. Amongst them, the farmers and miners, who over the centuries have created an environment which is loved by visitors from all over the world. Look closer, and you can see how they are responding to the challenges and the opportunities of farming in the 21st century. One thing is certain, we are all facing change. One of the earliest diversifications for Cornwall's farmers was green or rural tourism. Since then, they have responded to change by finding new ways to meet the modern consumer's desire for high-quality, sophisticated food and drink. Products which are safe and healthy, trusted and authentic, and taste good. As well as these specialist artisan products, there is a growing market supplying the food processing industry with the fresh, raw ingredients that it needs. And then there are the new crops, sometimes novel, sometimes not, that will help bring a more sustainable and viable way of life. One of the biggest catalysts for the county's land-based industries has been funding from Europe and DEFRA through the Objective One programme, which has underpinned many of these businesses and helped them move forward with renewed confidence. Barwick is a small county council-owned farm near Tregony on the Roseland Peninsula. A few years ago, Nick and Barbara Michelle took advantage of Objective One funding to invest in a new dairy to process their milk. A new separator, refrigerators and other equipment meant that the organic milk from the farm's Jersey herd could be transformed into a range of added value specialist dairy products. Cream, clotted cream, butter and milk, all sold through farm and village shops and other retail outlets. It is this type of high-quality artisan product that is helping to put Cornwall on the map as a place for top chefs and foodies to make their own. This is a sort of niche market that can offer a future for many of the county's farmers and growers. But Cornwall's food industry is more than just about quality specialist foods. Manufacturers in Cornwall are increasingly using fresh local ingredients for their products and are building long-term relationships with their suppliers. The Samworth Brothers Group, owners of Ginsters in Callington, have recently invested over £7 million in a large modernisation and development programme to increase the factory's capacity. The ingredients for tarts and pasties sold in the nation's supermarkets come from many different parts of Cornwall. For instance, Jasper's, a modern abattoir at nearby Treburley, supplies meat from local farms. And vegetables, including potatoes, onions and swedes, arrive from the Anthony Estate near Torpoint in south-east Cornwall. And wheat used for flour and pastry is grown by other Cornish farmers. In the far west of the county, families in Penwith are benefiting from an award-winning project, the Healthy Boxes Project. This enables farmers to provide people, young mothers and their children for example, with fresh fruit and vegetables at an affordable price, at the same time as providing alternative markets for the produce. Freshly picked fruit and vegetables are delivered to Carwin Farm near Hale, where they are packed ready for delivery throughout the districts of Penwith, Kerrier and more recently Carrick. The aim is to encourage families to use more fresh produce to prepare healthy and nutritional meals. In recognition of their work, the project team recently celebrated the presentation of a National Green Apple Award by the Secretary of State for Health. Cornish woodlands provide a haven for wildlife, opportunities for recreation, and a crop that can be sustainably and commercially managed. Tino Rawnsley manages woodlands for a number of organisations. His philosophy is to use good husbandry to create good things out of local timber. Tino's company, Rawnsley Woodland Products near Wadebridge, is pioneering new ways of utilising local materials. Tino has developed an innovative solar kiln which can dry timber to be then used either in eco-house developments or for cladding old buildings. He is also looking at potential markets for biofuel. Tino uses the woodlands he manages to teach land management skills, and he also selects the very best quality wood for crafting into fine furniture. One of the most familiar sights in the Cornish landscape is herds of grazing Frisian and Channel Island cows. The Cornish dairy industry thrives on some of England's best grasslands. The milk produced is used by the Cornish food processing industry and elsewhere for cheese, cream and other dairy products. With its EU protected designation of origin status, Rodders is probably the UK's largest and best known supplier of Cornish clotted cream. The company has started a multi-million-pound project to build on the famous Rodders brand. New production facilities, warehousing, research facilities, plant and equipment will help Rodders to continue adding value to Cornish primary agricultural produce and to play a significant role underpinning the rural economy for the long-term future. One of those farms relying on a strong dairy sector is St Inungo's farm near Bodmin, where 300 Holstein cows graze in fields around large Victorian farm buildings. Yet a closer look reveals that the lovely old farm buildings have now been put to a new use. Where once young calves and straw were housed, you can now find the NHS staff of the North Cornwall and East Cornwall Primary Care Trust. With support from Objective One, these barns have been sensitively restored, using original materials wherever possible, and creating new office spaces and preserving jobs in the rural community. South of the River Helford, a group of farmers has created a syndicate to share the costs of upgrading equipment and buying the new machinery they needed to remain competitive. Although some farmers in the group had already diversified in other ways, they each wanted to remain in farming, but knew that they needed to find ways of improving production whilst cutting costs. Objective One funded a feasibility study which showed that savings could be achieved and viability secured if only the group's members shared machinery. In the last 3 years, the South Helford Machinery Syndicate has bought equipment worth nearly £1 million. Objective One and DEFRA have provided financial support, and the 8 farmer members have invested themselves over £500,000. These farms now have a much more secure future, including the supply to Rodders of milk via the Milklink Cooperative. Yet another example of the farming community working with the food processing industry, with good results all round, and many benefits for the local economy. In 1986, Duchy College was the first new agricultural college to be set up in England and Wales for 33 years. It is now part of the Cornwall College Group, which in turn is one of the partner colleges in the new combined universities in Cornwall. Over the years, Duchy College has evolved to meet the training and research needs of land-based and rural industries.
Gain those qualifications, and that's a key for the building, isn't it? For me, because what we've got is a superb area, of working area where we have industry coming in, doing the work, and it meets completely the student coming this way.
Yes.
Yeah. So the students then could be wholly involved, both in here but outside, as whichever way that food chain comes in and out, with what they are going to then go and be employed for.
Student business interface.
Absolutely. And I hope sat in the refectory with the regards to that, we'll have the managers from Ginsters, the managers from the industry, possibly the bank people sitting here. Next door to them will be the 10 students sat around the table. They're then saying, oh, we're just learning. And that interaction to me is absolutely
That's the
essential.
catalyst at the end.
Future investments will be tailor-made to suit farming and food processing as it develops into a modern, fast-growing, knowledge-based and competitive business sector. Despite the difficulties brought by change, distance from market, the need to address sustainability issues, and the threats of global warming, the Cornish farming community is working hard with entrepreneurial spirit. Partnerships are developing between farmers, food businesses and the retail sector, and supported by investment in training, research and education, Cornwall is showing that it is facing up to the challenges of the future, preserving our unique landscape and making its special contribution to Britain's growing desire for high quality food and drink.
Thank you.